Hannah Kim stood at the large window of her room on the space station Concordia. She looked out at the stars and felt her stomach twist with worry. Tomorrow, she would speak to 43 different alien species. Tomorrow, she would represent all of Earth. The space station was bigger than any city on Earth. It spun slowly in space, creating gravity for the thousands of beings inside. Ships from across the galaxy sat docked to its metal arms like strange flowers on a stem. Each ship looked different. Some were smooth and silver, others had sharp edges and glowing lights. A few looked like they were made of living crystal. Hannah touched the datapad in her hands. Her presentation was ready. She had spent months preparing it, but she still felt nervous. Very nervous. Can't sleep. A voice asked behind her. She turned around. Taemin Park stood in the doorway. He was her security guard, but also her friend. They had grown up on the same street in Seoul. Now they were both far from home, surrounded by aliens who thought humans were weak. I keep thinking about what happens if I mess this up, Hannah said. She sat down on the bed and put her head in her hands. The other species already think we don't belong here. If I give a bad presentation, Taemin walked over and sat next to her. You won't mess up. You're the best scientist Earth has. That's why they picked you. Hannah looked at him. Did you see the Saurian presentation today? I saw it. Taemin's face went hard. Big lizards showing off their bone crushers. The Saurians had gone first. They were 7 feet tall, with thick scales and sharp teeth. Their leader, Gorth, had shown videos of massive creatures on their home world. The bone crushers were as big as Earth's elephants, but covered in armor, and had jaws that could bite through metal. The whole room had been impressed, even scared. And the Zephyrians showed those stormhawks. Hannah continued. Birds made of pure energy that hunt in lightning storms. How do I compete with that? Earth's animals look boring next to theirs. Earth's animals got us to the stars, Taemin reminded her. That has to count for something. Hannah wanted to believe him, but she had heard the whispers in the halls. The other species called humans the soft ones or the weak builders. They said Earth was a gentle world that made gentle creatures. They wondered why the Galactic Council had given humans a seat at all. The door chimed. Woojin Lee walked in without waiting for permission. He was Earth's ambassador, a man with gray hair and calm eyes. But Hannah knew he had been a soldier before. Becoming a diplomat, sometimes she could see that soldier looking out from behind his polite smile. How are we feeling about tomorrow? He asked. Nervous, Hannah said honestly. Good. Nervous people are careful people. Woojin sat down across from them. I've been watching the other presentations. Very impressive. Very, flashy. That's what I'm worried about, Hannah said. Our predators aren't flashy. They're just, normal. Normal can be good, Woojin said. His voice was quiet, but something in it made both Hannah and Taemin look at him more closely. Sometimes the most dangerous things look normal. Before Hannah could ask what he meant, her communicator buzzed. It was Mina Choi calling from their ship. Hannah, you need to hear this. Mina's voice came through the speaker. She was their communications officer. She monitored all the signals coming and going from the station. What is it? Hannah asked. I've been listening to the alien chatter. The species here aren't just sharing information about their predators. They single quotes, studying each other. Really studying, like they're looking for weaknesses. Hannah felt cold. What do you mean? The Saurians have been scanning every ship that docks. The Xerians are recording everything everyone says. The Synthoids are running calculations on all the biological data they're hearing. This isn't just a science conference, Hannah. This is something else. Woojin's face didn't change, but his eyes got sharper. Keep monitoring, Mina. Let us know if anything else comes up. After he cut the connection, the room was quiet for a long moment. What do you think they're really doing? Hannah asked. Learning, Woojin said simply. The question is what they plan to do with what they learn. Taemin stood up and walked to the window. In the distance, he could see some of the alien ships moving. Not docking or leaving, just positioning themselves. Sir, I think we should be ready for anything tomorrow. We will be, Wujin said. He looked at Hannah. Are you ready to give them what they're not expecting? Hannah looked down at her datapad again. Her original presentation was there. Videos of sharks and bears and tigers. Good predators, but nothing special compared to what the other species had shown. But there was another file on the pad. A file Wujin had given her just before they left Earth. A file she wasn't supposed to open unless things went wrong. What if they don't like what I have to show them? She asked. Wujin smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. Then they'll learn something important about humans, which is that we're not as soft as we look. Later that night, Hannah walked through the station's corridors. The ceilings were high, and the walls were made of some alien metal that changed color as she passed. Other beings moved through the halls with her. Tall Zephyrians that looked like walking clouds. Short furry Kellans with too many eyes. Mechanical synthoids that clicked and whirred as they walked. They all looked at her as she passed. Some looked curious. Others looked dismissive. A few looked hungry. She realized that Mina was right. This wasn't just a conference. The other species were studying everyone. Looking for weaknesses, planning something. As she walked back to her room, Hannah made a decision. Tomorrow, she wouldn't give the safe presentation. Tomorrow, she would open Wujin's secret file and show these aliens something they weren't expecting. She didn't know it yet, but tomorrow would change everything. Not just for her, but for every species in the galaxy. Because tomorrow, they would learn what Earth's real apex predator was, and they wouldn't like the answer. The main conference hall was huge. Hannah had seen it before, but it still took her breath away. The ceiling was so high, she couldn't see the top. Rows of seats curved around a central platform in a perfect circle. Each section was built for different types of alien bodies. Some seats were filled with water for the ocean dwellers. Others glowed with heat for the rock eaters. A few sections had no gravity at all for the space floaters. Hannah walked down the center aisle toward the speaking platform. Her legs felt shaky. Around her, hundreds of alien beings watched and whispered. She could hear the sounds they made. Clicks, chirps, buzzes, and noises she had no words for. Tae-Min walked beside her. His hand rested near his weapon, but his face looked calm. Wujin sat in the human section with the other Earth diplomats. He nodded to her as she passed. At the center of the hall stood the presentation platform. It was made of some clear material that glowed softly. Above it, holographic projectors waited to show her images to the entire room. Veltar floated above the platform. The Zarian looked like a walking crystal sculpture. Light moved through their transparent body in patterns that meant they were speaking. We now welcome the representative from Earth. Veltar's voice echoed through the hall. The sound came from everywhere at once. The newest member of our council will share the apex predator of their world. Hannah stepped onto the platform. The clear floor felt solid under her feet, but she could see down through it to the lower levels of the station. It made her dizzy. She looked up at the faces watching her. So many different shapes and sizes. So many ways of being alive, and all of them waiting to see what weak little Earth had to offer. Hannah touched her datapad. The holographic display came to life above her head. Earth is a water world, she began. Her voice was picked up by the platform and sent to every corner of the hall. 70% ocean, 30% land. Our predators have adapted to both environments. The first image appeared. A great white shark cutting through blue water. Its mouth open to show rows of sharp teeth. This is a great white shark, Hannah said. It can grow to 20 feet long. It hunts in the ocean using smell and electrical sensors. It can detect a single drop of blood from miles away. She heard some interested clicks from the water-dwelling species, but most of the room seemed bored. The Saurians had shown predators twice as big. The Kellans had creatures with acid instead of teeth. The next image showed a massive brown bear standing on its back legs. This is a grizzly bear. It weighs as much as a small vehicle. It can run 30 miles per hour and climb trees. Its claws are longer than human fingers. A few more interested sounds, but still mostly silence. Hannah showed them tigers with their orange and black stripes, eagles with 8-foot wingspans, wolves that hunted in packs, lions with their powerful roars. Each time, the room grew quieter. Not the good kind of quiet that meant people were impressed. The bad kind that meant they were getting bored. Finally, Gorth stood up in the saurian section. He was even bigger than Hannah had thought. His scales were dark green and covered in old scars. When he spoke, his voice was a deep growl that made the air vibrate. Surely these simple beasts are not what allowed your species to claim dominance over your world. Gorth's yellow eyes fixed on Hannah. They seem insufficient. Other voices joined in. Whisper of Wind, the Zephyrian delegate, floated forward. They looked like a small tornado made of silver mist. Your predators lack the unique adaptations we have seen from other worlds, they said. Their voice sounded like wind through leaves. How did such ordinary creatures lead to your species becoming the dominant lifeform? Klaxon 7, representative, spoke next. They looked like a walking computer, made of black metal and glowing lights. My calculations show that none of the displayed predators possess the capabilities necessary for sapient species dominance. Klaxon 7 said. Their voice had no emotion at all. The data does not support your claim of apex status for these creatures. More voices rose from around the hall. The aliens were no longer being polite. They were saying what they really thought. That Earth's animals were weak. That humans were weak. That Earth didn't deserve a place on the council. Hannah felt her face get hot with anger and embarrassment, but then she looked at Wu Jin. The old ambassador was sitting forward in his seat. He was watching her carefully, waiting. She remembered the secret file on her datapad. The one he had given her before they left Earth. The one she wasn't supposed to use unless things went wrong. Things were definitely going wrong. Hannah took a deep breath. She looked around the hall at all the alien faces staring at her. Some looked amused. Others looked dismissive. A few looked like they were already planning to vote Earth out of the council. You're absolutely right, she said finally. The hall went silent. No one had expected her to agree with them. These aren't our apex predator, Hannah continued. Her finger moved over her datapad to the secret file. I was trying to be polite. I thought you might not be ready to see our real apex predator. Gorth leaned forward. His massive claws gripped the edge of his platform. Then show us, little human. Show us what you think is so dangerous. Around the hall, aliens shifted in their seats. They were interested now. Finally, Earth was going to show them something worth seeing. Hannah opened the secret file. New images loaded into the holographic display, but she didn't activate them yet. Our real apex predator, she said, slowly, doesn't look like much. It has no claws, no fangs, no natural armor, no venom or acid. It can't fly without tools. It can't breathe underwater without help. It can't even survive in most environments without protection. The aliens looked confused. What kind of predator was she describing? But this predator, Hannah continued, has something your predators don't have. Something that makes it the most dangerous hunter that has ever lived. What? Gorth demanded. Hannah smiled. For the first time since she had walked into the hall, she felt confident. She felt dangerous. Patience, she said. And the will to never ever stop hunting. She activated the display. The new images appeared above her head, and everything changed. The new holographic display showed something completely different. Instead of claws and teeth, the image showed a simple outline of a human body. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. It looked ordinary. It looked weak. The aliens in the hall started to laugh, not nice laughter, mean laughter. This is your apex predator. Gorth's voice boomed through the hall. A creature that looks just like you. How disappointing. But Hannah wasn't finished. She touched her datapad again. The human outline changed. Red lines appeared, showing muscles. Blue lines showed blood vessels. Yellow lines showed nerves. This predator, Hannah said, her voice carrying clearly through the hall, is built for one thing: persistence hunting. The laughter stopped. The aliens leaned forward to look more closely. What is persistence hunting? Asked Whisper Dash of Dash Wind. Panna smiled. It means we never stop chasing our prey, ever. The display changed again. Now it showed a human figure running. Numbers appeared next to it. A human can run for hours without stopping, Hannah explained. We sweat to cool our bodies. We breathe in a special way that gives us more oxygen. Our legs are built to carry us for incredible distances. The numbers on the display were impressive. Humans could run for 20 miles without stopping. Some could run for over 100 miles in a single day. But most predators are faster, said Klaxon 7. Speed should matter more than distance, should it? Hannah asked. The display changed again. Now it showed an animation of a human chasing a deer. A deer can run much faster than a human, Hannah said as they watched. But it can only run fast for a few minutes. Then it has to stop and rest. In the animation, the deer ran away quickly. The human followed slowly but steadily. When the deer stopped to rest, the human kept coming. The deer ran again. The human followed again. The deer gets tired, Hannah continued. It starts to overheat. It needs water. It needs to eat. But the human just keeps coming. The animation showed this happening over and over. The deer ran. The human followed. Each time, the deer was a little more tired. Each time, the human was still there. Eventually, Hannah said, the deer is too tired to run anymore. It just stands there, breathing hard, waiting for the human to catch up. The animation ended with the human walking up to the exhausted deer. The deer didn't even try to run. The hall was completely silent now. This is impossible, said Goith. But his voice wasn't as confident as before. No predator hunts this way, humans do, Hannah said simply. We call it persistence hunting, and we're the best at it on Earth. Better than any animal that ever lived. She touched her datapad again. The display showed a map of Africa. Red dots appeared on it, moving slowly across the continent. These are human tribes from thousands of years ago, Hannah said. Watch how they hunted. The red dots moved across the map, following the paths of animal herds. They didn't move fast, but they never stopped moving. They would pick out one animal from a herd, Hannah explained. Usually the biggest, strongest one. Then they would start chasing it. They would chase it for days, sometimes weeks. The display showed the hunting process in detail. Teams of humans taking turns. Some would run while others rested. But someone was always chasing the target animal. The animal would try everything, Hannah continued. It would run to water and drink. The humans would wait. It would try to hide in a herd. The humans would find it and separate it again. It would run until its muscles burned and its lungs hurt. The humans would still be there. Whisper of made a sound like wind through a graveyard. How long would this continue? Until the animal collapsed, Hannah said. Sometimes it took 3 days. Sometimes it took a week. But it always ended the same way. The animal would be too tired to move. Then the humans would walk up and kill it with simple tools. The aliens were very quiet now. Some were shifting uncomfortably in their seats. But Hannah wasn't done. The scary part, she said, isn't how we hunted animals. It's how we hunted each other. The display changed to show human settlements across Earth. Wars between different groups. Armies marching across continents. When humans fight humans, we use the same strategy, Hannah said. We don't win battles with the biggest weapons or the strongest soldiers. We win by never giving up. She showed them pictures from human history. Armies that marched through winter storms. Soldiers who fought for years without going home. Cities that were attacked for months until they surrendered. Other predators hunt until they're tired. Then they stop, Hannah said. Humans hunt until the prey stops. We can chase something across an entire planet if we have to. Gorth stood up slowly. His huge frame blocked the light from the ceiling. You speak of primitive hunting methods. Surely your species has evolved beyond this. Hannah looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. It wasn't a nice smile, have we? She asked. The display changed one more time. Now it showed human spaceships moving between the stars. Charts of exploration routes, maps of human colonies, spreading across the galaxy. We spent 200 years building rockets to get into space, Hannah said. When the first ones exploded, we built better ones. When those failed, we built better ones again. We never stopped trying. She showed them the timeline of human space exploration. Failure after failure, but always followed by another attempt. When we found out about other intelligent species, we spent 50 years learning your languages. When you said we couldn't join the council, we spent 20 years proving we belonged. When you told us to stay in our own system, we kept coming anyway. The aliens were starting to look very uncomfortable now. We're still persistence hunters, Hannah said. We just hunt different things now. We hunt knowledge. We hunt technology. We hunt, ... double quotes. She paused and looked around the room. We hunt understanding. Klaxon 7's lights flickered rapidly. What do you mean by that? Hannah's smile got wider. We hunt everything about you, your languages, your cultures, your technologies, your weaknesses. And we never stop hunting until we understand everything. The hall erupted in angry voices. Aliens were standing up, shouting questions, demanding explanations, but Hannah just stood there, smiling, waiting for them to get quiet again, because she wasn't finished yet. The shouting in the hall slowly died down. Veltar floated higher above the platform, their crystal body glowing brighter with anger. These are serious accusations, Veltar said. Their voice echoed with authority. You claim your species has been ... studying us without permission. Not studying, Hannah corrected. Hunting. The word sent a chill through the room. Aliens looked at each other nervously. Some reached for their communication devices. But that's ancient history, Veltar said quickly. Surely your species has evolved beyond such primitive behaviors. You are civilized now. You follow the Council's rules of peaceful cooperation. Before Hannah could answer, Woojin Lee stood up in the human section. He walked down the aisle toward the platform. His footsteps echoed in the silent hall. May I? He asked Hannah. She nodded and stepped aside. Woojin took her place at the center of the platform. He looked older than usual under the bright lights, but his eyes were sharp and alert. Ambassador Veltar is correct, Woojin said. His voice was calm and polite. Humans have evolved. We no longer hunt animals for food. We no longer fight wars with spears and arrows. The aliens relaxed slightly. This sounded more reasonable. But, Woojin continued, the human capacity for persistence hunting never disappeared. It simply adapted. Hannah touched her datapad. The holographic display changed to show something new. Star charts, maps of the galaxy, human exploration routes spreading out from Earth like the web of a spider. When humans first developed space travel, we had a problem, Woojin explained. Our rockets were slow. Other species had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. They had better technology, better ships, better everything. The display showed early human space missions, small, clumsy ships, struggling to reach even the nearest planets. A reasonable species would have given up, Woojin said. They would have accepted their limitations and stayed home. But humans don't give up. We started hunting. Hunting what? Gorth demanded. His voice was quieter than before, but still threatening. Solutions, Woojin said simply. The display changed to show human research stations, laboratories on asteroids, science ships following alien vessels at a distance. We couldn't build faster ships, so we learned to follow slower. We couldn't match your technology, so we learned to be more patient. We studied every alien ship that passed through our system. We recorded every signal, every energy signature, every piece of data we could find. Whisper of Wind drifted forward, their misty form rippling with distress. The Council has rules about sharing technology freely. You're right, Woojin agreed. The rules say that all species should share their knowledge openly for the benefit of everyone. He paused and looked around the room. How much have you shared with us? The question hung in the air like a challenge. The alien delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "We have shared appropriate information," Veltar said stiffly. "Have you?" Wujin asked. The display changed again, showing communication, logs between Earth and other Council worlds. Most of the files were marked classified or restricted access. "When we asked about your faster-than-light travel, you gave us basic principles but no working details. When we requested medical technology, you sent textbooks but no actual equipment. When we tried to establish trade agreements, you offered to buy our raw materials but refused to sell us finished goods." The display showed dozens of similar examples. Requests from Earth that were politely denied or partially answered. "So we adapted our hunting strategy," Wujin continued. "If you wouldn't share willingly, we would learn anyway. We would be patient. We would watch. We would follow." Klaxon 7's optical sensors focused on the display. "You have been conducting unauthorized surveillance." "We've been learning," Wujin corrected. "The same way our ancestors learned to hunt. By observation, by patience, by never giving up." The display now showed the true scope of human intelligence gathering. Monitoring stations hidden throughout the galaxy. Human traders who were actually researchers. Diplomatic missions that were really reconnaissance operations. Every time one of your ships visited Earth, we scanned it completely. Every time you sent us a message, we analyzed every detail. Every time one of our diplomats visited your worlds, they brought back terabytes of data. Gorth stood up, his massive frame trembling with rage. "This is espionage. This violates every treaty between our species, does it?" Wujin asked calmly. "We never signed any treaties that specifically forbade learning about our neighbors. We never agreed to remain ignorant." He looked directly at Gorth. "Besides, we learned this technique from watching you." The Saurian's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" The display changed to show Saurian surveillance operations, hidden cameras, encrypted communications. Military intelligence reports about human capabilities. "Did you think we didn't know?" Wujin asked. "Did you think we couldn't detect your spy satellites, your listening posts, your agents posing as traders and scientists?" More evidence appeared on the display. Every species in the room had been conducting surveillance on Earth. Some had been doing it for decades. "The Zephyrians have been monitoring our weather patterns and military communications," Wujin said. "The Zirians have been studying our industrial capabilities. The Synthoids have been analyzing our computer networks." Each accusation was backed up with hard evidence. Intercepted signals, decoded messages, surveillance footage of alien agents on Earth. "You've all been hunting us," Wujin said. "Learning our weaknesses, planning for the day when you might need to deal with the human problem." The hall erupted in angry denials, but Wujin wasn't finished. "The difference," he said, his voice cutting through the noise, "is that you've been hunting like traditional predators. You wait for opportunities. You look for easy targets. You hunt when it's convenient." He smiled, and for the first time since entering the hall, he looked truly dangerous. "Humans hunt differently. We hunt constantly. We hunt systematically. We hunt until we know everything about our prey." The display showed the results of decades of human intelligence gathering. Complete psychological profiles of alien leaders, detailed maps of military installations, economic analyses of entire civilizations. "We know your mating cycles," Wujin said quietly. "We know your resource requirements. We know your military capabilities. We know your fears, your desires, your cultural taboos." He looked around the room, making eye contact with each delegation. "We know exactly how to defeat every single one of you." The hall fell completely silent. Even the mechanical sounds of the stations seemed muted. "But here's the thing about persistence hunters," Wujin continued. "We don't just hunt to kill, we hunt to understand. And once we understand something completely, he paused, letting the silence stretch. "It belongs to us." The silence in the hall was thick and heavy. Every alien in the room stared at Wujin with growing fear. Some reached for their communication devices, others started to stand up, ready to leave. None of their devices worked, Veltar's crystal body flickered with alarm. My communicator is not functioning. What have you done? Mina Choi's voice came through the hall's speaker system. She was still on the human ship, but her signal was getting through perfectly. All external communications from the station have been blocked, she announced calmly. This is for everyone's safety during the presentation. Panic started to spread. Through the alien delegates, they tried their backup communicators. They tried their emergency signals. Nothing worked. Gorth roared in anger. This is an act of war. You cannot hold us prisoner. Nobody is being held prisoner, Wu Jin said. His voice was still calm and polite. You're free to leave at any time. Your ships are undamaged. The docking bays are open. You can go whenever you want. Then why block our communications? Demanded Wisp. Because, Hannah said, stepping forward again, we're not finished with our presentation. She touched her datapad one more time. The holographic display changed to show something that made every alien in the room freeze with terror. It was a complete tactical analysis of the space station, every weapon system, every defense grid, every escape route, and all of them were marked as compromised or under human control. You see, Hannah continued, this conference wasn't just an opportunity for us to share information about Earth's predators. It was an opportunity for us to gather all of our prey in one place. Klaxon 7's lights flashed rapidly as they processed this information. Impossible. Station security is controlled by the Council. No single species has access to the primary systems. Taman Park moved from his position near the wall. He walked slowly toward the center of the room. As he moved, other humans throughout the hall began standing up. They had been sitting quietly in different sections, disguised as translators, technicians, and minor diplomats. How many humans do you think are on this station? Taman asked. The aliens looked around nervously. They could see at least 20 humans scattered throughout the hall. All of them looked calm. All of them looked ready. The manifest shows 43 human staff members, Veltar said, but their voice was uncertain. The manifest is wrong, Wujin said. We've had people on this station for 3 months, engineers working on the air recycling systems, technicians maintaining the computer networks, cooks preparing food in the kitchens, cleaners working night shifts when everyone else is asleep. The display showed security footage from around the station, humans working in restricted areas, humans accessing computer terminals, humans installing small devices in critical systems. Every human on this station is military, Paman said. Special forces, intelligence operatives, systems experts. We've been preparing for this day for years. Preparing for what? Gorth snarled. His claws were extended, but he made no move to attack. He could see too many humans, and they were positioned too well. The final phase of the hunt, Hannah said. The display changed again. Now it showed the galaxy itself, with every major alien world marked and analyzed. Trade routes, military bases, population centers, resource deposits. For the past 50 years, humans have been studying every species in the Council, Hannah explained. We've learned your languages, your cultures, your technologies. We've mapped your worlds and analyzed your defenses. We've identified your leaders and studied their psychology. But most importantly, Wujin added, we've been patient. We've waited for the right moment. The moment when we could demonstrate our true nature. Whispervoint drifted backward, their misty form trembling. You're talking about conquest? About war? Are we? Hannah asked. She looked genuinely curious. What exactly do you think we're going to do to you? The question caught the aliens off guard. They had been expecting threats of violence or demands for surrender. Instead, the human was asking them to think. Your apex predators, Veltar said slowly. Predators hunt to kill. Some predators hunt to kill, Hannah agreed. But humans hunt to understand. And once we understand something completely, it belongs to us, Gorth finished, remembering Wujin's earlier words. Exactly, Hannah said. But what does it mean for something to belong to us? She gestured to the display, which now showed Earth itself. Cities full of different human cultures, humans working together, building together, living together. On Earth, we have hundreds of different human cultures, she said. Different languages, different beliefs, different ways of life. We don't make them all the same, we don't destroy the differences. The display showed human cities with diverse architecture. Markets selling food from dozens of cultures. Schools where children learned multiple languages. When humans understand something, we don't destroy it, Hannah continued. We integrate it. We make it part of our larger community, while letting it keep what makes it special. Klaxon 7's optical sensors focused intently on her. You are proposing ... assimilation. We're proposing evolution, Wujin said. The next step in galactic civilization. The display showed a new image. The galaxy, but different. Trade routes connected every world. Resources flowed freely between systems. Technologies were shared openly. Imagine a galaxy where every species contributes their best knowledge and abilities, Wujin said. Where the Saurian strength combines with Zephyrian speed and Zerian durability. Where Syntoid computational power helps solve problems that benefit everyone. Under human leadership, Gorth said. It wasn't a question. Under human coordination, Wujin corrected. Humans are good at seeing the big picture. We're good at long-term planning. We're good at bringing different groups together. And if we refuse, Veltar asked, Hannah smiled. The same predatory smile she had worn earlier. Then we continue hunting, she said simply. We've already demonstrated that we can infiltrate your stations, compromise your systems, and gather your leaders in one place. This is us being polite. This is us offering partnership instead of conquest. She looked around the room at all the frightened alien faces. But make no mistake, she continued. The hunt never ends. If you choose to be enemies instead of partners, we will hunt you until you change your minds. We will outlast you. We will outthink you. We will never ever give up. Taman stepped forward. The choice is simple. Join us willingly, or join us eventually. Either way, the human age has begun. The hall was silent, except for the sound of alien breathing and the soft hum of the station's systems. Finally, Veltar spoke. And if we agree to this partnership, what happens then? Wujin smiled. For the first time since the presentation began, it was a genuinely warm smile. Then we start building something amazing together, he said. The greatest civilization the galaxy has ever seen. Hannah raised her hand, just as the title had promised. But instead of a threat, it was an offer. The question isn't what Earth's apex predator is anymore, she said. The question is whether you're ready to evolve with us. The hunt was over. The real work was about to begin.